First half stats, and really the only significant one is the penalties, and it's not hurt South Australia, even though they've conceded 10 more. 6 intercepts to 5. The turnovers pretty even. South Australia enjoying a little more possession. They put up 4 more shots, but lead it by 6, so that means they've been just a touch more accurate. Stat not on screen there. Rebounds, nothing in that either. 3 to South Australia, 4 to Victoria. So the players are just about right to get the second half underway. 6 goals is a fair bit to pull back, and I don't think Victoria showed enough in that second quarter, and to, you know, really worry the South Australian camp.
No, I thought Victoria was very stagnant, particularly in attack and particularly around the circle. McMahon really not coming into the game with any passion. They have made the switch there, though. McMahon and Tier reversing positions for this third quarter. Just looking at the stats, Jenny Borley is very accurate at 90%. She's a standout shooter on court with 10 from 11. And also Delaney, 18 from 22, solid at 81%. For Victoria, McMahon was 5 from 6, so the accuracy there, if we can just get the passion back into the game. Abby Tier, 10 from 15, 66%, where she has pretty well sat each quarter. So Tier now has moved to goal shooter, and Southby come out to goal attack. Jane Searle trying to find something more across her attacking transverse line.
So will Southby offer some more movement? Sure, Sarah Sutter is relishing the idea of playing on the youngster, Abby Tier.
Right at the top.
Janelle Terrington having a bit of trouble setting this penalty. Tier has it now. Sanders to Squire to Hodge. Borlase. Interesting that Borlase and Harvey have been made co-captains of this side. A recognition of the experience of both and the leadership qualities of both.
I think so, and a good way to resolve the Ravens Thunderbirds issue, I think, to be quite honest.
Is there an issue?
Well, I think it's a smart idea, that, and what it gives you is 2 definite commanding players at either end of the court, too, by virtue of their position. So I think a smart move. Lots
of positives out of that. Southby, out she comes. Tier. So 30 to 23, 7 the lead. It's danger time for Victoria. They need some turnovers. They need to treasure them. They got a few in that second quarter, but South Australia, when they concede one, find something extra and usually get it back.
It's very important Victoria work hard now, because South Australia is starting to open the floodgates just before the break. And if they allow them to continue that momentum, Victoria will see it too big a gap to close in the final quarter. So now it's really the crunch time for Victoria.
O'Donnell. Richardson, hounded by Sanders. Sutter sticking like glue to Southby. He leaves it for Tier. Richardson available.
Tier using the left hand well, then around the outside of the goalpost to put it to the far side to Nikki Richardson.
Sutter drops the shoulder. Tier takes the penalty. And that's her 12th from 17. Oh, Vivian had a go.
Holding, goal defence.
Garbutt.
Where you are.
Seven,
thank you.
Yeah, number 7 in the penalty count for Narelle Garbutt.
If you're going to try and upset Delaney, there's probably no getting away from that. Richardson.
Oh, well done, Sarah Sutter. Just doesn't have the time to run it down. Sutter working well to block Tier out, and then has enough to come through onto the ball, just not enough time to run it down before it crosses over the sideline.
Southby. Tier.
Great stretch from Sarah Sutter, although she's stretching to the right-hand side of Abby Tier, and Abby Tier, of course, is a left-hander.
Squire to Hodge. 6 the lead for South Australia.
Offside, contact Tier, goalkeeper.
Borlase.
Moving too soon. Back to where it originally was. Right.
Jan Cross sets Borlase straight. And that's 32-25. We've had 4 minutes of play in the third.
contact, wing.
Vivian. Richardson now. Back to Garbutt.
And the match in a similar pattern to how it's been the start of the previous two quarters, a goal-for-goal battle. But that's not enough for Victoria. They really need to create some opportunities and nail them in goals, try and lift.
Tia. Fine, Southby.
Had just enough on it.
Harvey. I suppose what this South Australian defence does, even if they just get a touch and force the ball out, and make you take that extra pass, make the extra move to score the goal, and it just it becomes wearing, doesn't it? That kind of grinding defence.
Yeah, they are a tremendous combination, and the speed that they can offer onto the ball is just fearsome.
Vivian, Garbutt, Victoria sweeping down court. Southby, O'Donnell, and Southby. That's better from Victoria. And they've got the centre pass here and take something out of the lead. It's back to 5. Stuck centre court, though, with good South Australian defence. Richardson, now Vivian released. O'Donnell. Tia skirts around. Sutter.
Offside, centre.
Sanders caught offside, so Victoria into the circle.
Contact by wing defender body.
Wing defender, Squire. Contact. Ball's gone missing. Shirley O'Donnell's found. Southby. And they've pulled it back to 4. Hodge. Sanders. On Borlase wasn't looking.
Oh, Illich got a touch and she's gone for causing. I was just about to reward her for working so hard. She's right down to the transverse line with Borlase. Thought that was quite legal what she did.
Unless she sort of chested Borlase and pushed her.
Just looked like she was holding position. She got an arm out to deflect the ball. I thought it was a fairly hard call.
Oh, and it's through the hands. A tough pass for Vivian.
Oh, and look, Delaney's at the back of play, just off camera, screaming. She was probably yelling so loud, Garbutt realised she should drop back.
Now Delaney. And Illich there.
Too much effort spent on the jumping and screaming.
Well, the next goal could be a crucial one.
Crowd very quiet, Steve, obviously because of dominance of South Australians in the audience. But if Victoria could score the next and some of the crowd get behind them, they could really lift.
Well, just for the moment, as you say, Victoria have taken the South Australian contingent out of the game. And 32-28. We've got 8 to go in the third, and Victoria at half-time in danger of letting the game slip away from them. Southby gets this one, and it's 32-29. Anybody's match. Do you feel Southby's lifted a little?
Yeah, and she's so steady you don't notice it happening. She really is just chiseling away. What I notice is Abby Tier doesn't make a move without checking what Southby's doing first. I think Southby can offer more, but as we said, she hasn't been feeling 100%. But I think the switch has paid dividends for Victoria.
Oh, it was a great take there from Sanders. Delaney, then Borlase. That was on the edge, the build-up to that goal, and 33-29.
Just taking another look, you see Illich comes out for the ball, but Garbutt was also out, so there was no one at home to mark Borlase. So Illich really leaving the home post wide open.
Well, Borlase has added another, and suddenly it's back out to 5. Halfway through the third. Tier. And Abby Tier holding her own. Out off Harvey. Here's another chance for Victoria to get back what they had a moment ago, and that is a margin of 3. Richardson. Oh, Vivian. Well, that was a close thing. Harvey accelerating, arriving just in time. Up it goes, and a touch from... Oh, Abby
call
Tier.
against Abby Tier. And the noise behind us is the Victorian 21 and underside. And that's where the impetus is going to have to come for crowd support.
Delaney.
Swisher. Number 21 for Jack Delaney, 21 from 28.
Victorian centre pass through Nick Richardson, O'Donnell.
Victoria lacked the characteristic speed they're used to onto the circle. Richardson, although a strong, tough customer, doesn't have that speed to get onto the circle, and they're used to the speed merchants and how their goal circle operates. So it's a laboured approach for them.
10 from 12 now after Southby was caught holding, so 83%. Tier 14 from 19. 5:20 to go in the third.
2-on-1 against Illich. Garbutt out of play in the transverse line, so South Australia with the numbers.
Delaney. And Garbutt had position. And now possession. Illich. Oh, Vivian. They do sometimes struggle to get it out of this centre third, Victoria. All right now, Southby. Oh.
Southby indicating to Janelle Derrington that her arm was pulled away from the take. Let's try and have another look. And there was a knock on the arm, but it was a fairly soft try for all of that.
I think Harvey would argue she was after the ball. Sanders.
Well, 4 in a line. Put it up and see who comes down with it. Not much for a feeder to put it to.
Delaney.
Delaney on 73%. Jenny Borley has just one miss to date in the match at 93%.
Tier.
And Steve, Borley's coming into the game the longer it goes on, really starting to make a mark. It was all Delaney in the first part of the match, but Borley's coming through now.
And here, South Australia once again making Victoria really struggle just to get it into the circle. Tier. Placed for Southby's advantage.
And for the difference, this is anybody's game if somebody would just tell Victoria they could win it. They just don't look like they believe they can do it. Illich is giving it all at the back and creates another opportunity. This is a crucial one for Victoria. Vivian.
Richardson.
T gets stuck on the hold on the edge of the circle, now gets back in there.
Sutter there in defence stuck the arms out, which was not penalised. And a scrappy one that Squire picks up.
Oh, Vivian does well as Victoria continue to squander opportunities in attack. Their defenders are producing time and time again turnovers.
Borlase. Hodge as Garbutt comes out.
Contact. Where you are, pass the shot.
Delaney.
Advantage contact.
Finds Borlase unselfishly. And South Australia breathing a little easier. O'Donnell. Tier. Southby.
Oh, great pressure from Sanders forces Richardson to displace the ball.
Advantage contact, wing defense.
Sanders. Oh, fortuitously to Delaney.
Contact. Penalty pass outside the circle.
Well, in endeavouring to slap the ball out of play, Richardson is on the follow-through, I think, connected with Sanders. Delaney, it's a bit physical down there, but SA get the right result. Up by 6 and centre pass to come, and the Victorian bench is up.
It's physical, yet the intensity is waning. It changes throughout the game. It's not consistently intense. I think it's a sort of game that South Australia probably should have nailed earlier, yet Victoria keep coming, and yet they still don't actually believe they can do it. They've spoilt some opportunities, and again we see one come undone.
1:40 to go in this quarter, the third. And South Australia have not taken this game by the scruff of the neck yet. Good fight from Victoria.
No, and I don't think you can expect any changes to the South Australian 7. They have on court the team that can win it. They're just perhaps not playing at their best. Lack of concentration, not able to build. Victoria, though, probably will just pull out all stops for the last 15 minutes.
Oh, Garbutt not able to take what was a pretty tough pass. Here's a turnover, and South Australia, as they love to, can hurt Victoria in the closing moments of a quarter. Not this time. Illich.
Contact. Advantage.
Vivian.
Contact. Wing attack.
South Australia will be endeavouring to slow this right down. Penalty advanced, was it? I just took my eyes up to the clock for a moment, but
Yes.
Jan Cross's ruling was mindful of what the tactics were likely to be as the next break approaches.
Southby 12 from 14. She's neat in goals for Victoria.
I want to get it down there fairly quickly, Victoria. Not so quickly that South Australia get a chance to score, but they don't themselves.
Now, it's far too much float on the ball from Southby. It gave Harvey time to get around the body and get the touch. Now another turnover for Victoria through Melanie Vivian. Putting in a fine effort for them at wing defence.
One time. Hold time. Do you want time or not?
No.
I think Illich was signalling time for Vivian.
Sandra and goal attack.
Timekeeper is up, though. And Garbutt had a glance sideways to know that they need to get it to the circle.
Here, better get the shot away, Abby. And it didn't go through in any event, so the margin now 5. It was 6 at half-time, so Victoria sticking with South Australia, but they would love to be a couple closer with just 15 minutes to be played. Great final on our hands here. And a great interview coming up, I'm sure. We're lucky enough to have the Australian captain, Vicky Wilson, standing by with Simone Thurtell.
Thanks very much, Steve. Yes, we are lucky to have Vicky Wilson, gold medalist, joining us here this afternoon. Vicky, you've opted to not play in the Netball Nationals.
Yeah, it's been a long season this year, and as next year is going to be my last one, I really wanted to make sure I get some quality rest and come out nice and strong for the start of next year.
You've been sitting in the stands. How do you see the final so far?
Well, it's a tough one. I'd love to be out there, and Victoria have had lots of opportunities, and I think they'll come back nice and strong in the last quarter.
You've probably been asked it many times since you've come back, but what's the response been like to your gold medal?
It's been overwhelming. It's been so exciting coming home, and the number of people who have come up and congratulated me and congratulated the rest of the girls, it's just great to have so much support back here at home.
You've pretty much done everything you can here in netball, Vicky. What's in the future for Vicky Wilson? Can you keep going forever, or what's going to happen?
It'd be nice to be able to keep going forever, but unfortunately, you know, you've got to be able to call it a day, and I think it'd be nice if I could go through the National League injury-free and then head on over to the World Champs in Christchurch. That'll be really very, very tough playing the Kiwis at home and as well as all the other countries, but to play in New Zealand in netball crazy Kiwi land, it'll be wonderful if we could come away with a World Championship win.
What about the domestic season, playing again for the Queensland Firebirds next year?
Yeah, you know, we had quite a disappointing year. We only had, 2 wins under our belt, so we'll be looking forward to move on from there. So we've got a number of exciting players, and with the return of Peter Stevens and Carla Stewart from the AIS in Canberra, I'm sure that'll bolster our troops.
Vicky Wilson, thanks for joining us this afternoon. Enjoy the rest of the afternoon.
Pleasure.
This is just the start of all our summer action here on the ABC. Don't forget, tomorrow you can see all of the soccer action. Our National Soccer League kicks off. Our first game is between reigning NSL champions South Melbourne and the Gippsland Falcons. Every minute of that game will be brought to you live, kicking off at 5 p.m, and the NSL action will continue through summer with the match of the round live every Sunday afternoon at 5 p.m.
Yes, looking forward to soccer tomorrow. I don't think they play with a ball quite that big, but Harvey, well, they might be a little concerned, South Australia, because Victoria actually won the third quarter 11-10. Jenny Borlase a bloody nose to try and stop, because she won't be allowed to stay on court if she can't stop the bleeding. And in fact, she's asking for time to be called. Well, she tries to make herself heard and understood. And you just want to take us through those stats?
Well, Borlase, who's called time at the moment, hasn't affected her shooting, the blood nose. A 15 from 16. They will be loath to lose her from the court. And of course, she won't be able to retake the court unless the bleeding stops. Let's have another look at how it happened. Jenny Borlase just to the right of screen. And that was Sanders down. She caught one to the noggin a bit earlier from Richardson. That really doesn't give us any clues.
But Sanders probably should have had a blow.
She's
after that.
She's got a bruised forehead.
Yeah. Karen Tenebring, the physio there, and Danny Grant, Ravens teammate. So Jenny Borlase following her husband Daryl across to Melbourne next season. Daryl pulling the pin on a long and distinguished Australian rules career. I think his knees have had enough.
And Delaney with the restart for South Australia. Wholesale changes to the Victorian side for these final 15 minutes. McMahon has gone, sorry, Southby has come out at goal attack, and Bryant has come on at goal shooter. O'Donnell has moved to centre. Howie has come on at wing attack, and Illich and Garbett have swung positions in the back line. Illich now at goal defence and Garbett back at keeper. So Jane Searle, with wholesale changes, looking to find, well, at the moment, 5 goals to hit the lead.
Tough against South Australia. Southby.
Steve, Victoria have had ample opportunities and they've squandered those chances, particularly in that third quarter.
3 pass, where you are.
It's unfolded this way. 15-13 the first quarter to South Australia. And then they added 13-9 in the second to take a 28-22 lead. Victoria took 1 out of it in the third, winning that quarter 11-10. 38-33 it was at three-quarter time, and we're 38-34 at the moment.
Back further slightly, thank you.
Delaney.
Oh, great jump from Illich, and of course Delaney making it easy for her by stepping the shot in.
This gives you some surprising reactions. Jackie Delaney smiling at her own near misfortune. Illich, Vivian, Bryant, O'Donnell, Howie.
Howie and Squire, no strangers to each other, both members of Australia's World Youth Cup side that was successful in Toronto.
Next World Youth Cup in Wales in 2000. Australia looking to defend. Illich comes out, takes an important intercept. And her team must convert. Down by 5. Illich, those gadget arms too long.
Stepping. 3 pass, centre third.
But she stepped. She can't believe it.
I saw a twist of feet, but I thought that the landed foot stayed fixed. It's just that she looked awkward, so perhaps Jan Cross misconstruing that. Another chance for Victoria with the penalty going against Delaney. That's her 4th of the match, and particularly under the whistle of Derrington, she has been found a few times for contact.
O'Donnell. Howie. Howie, one of the quicker players around. Can she inject what's needed with, 12 minutes to go?
Well, they have been lacking the drive to the circle and the speed onto their shooters. I think we commented on that in the third quarter. Howie will certainly offer that in conjunction with O'Donnell. Bryant just recently was holding up the screen too for Southby, so that may create a difference for Victoria.
Well, the boos go up, and Southby in a bit of bother. And initially she got up holding a wrist, but can't be sure what this is. Mary Toomey, the medico, and Jane Searle on the right, the coach. And of course, we've made mention of how Southby's been unwell, but I think now it's a foot or a knee, or I'll take your choice, really.
Not sure. It's interesting that Surley looked up at the clock to see how long they had.
Have they run out of subs? See, Howie's come on. Ryan's been on and off. So they have, haven't they? Don't look at me like that. 11:30 to go. For the lead, Hodge, Sanders. touch only from Garbutt. South Australian possession. Hodge to Laney.
Goalkeeper, shuttle pass. Back slightly.
Oh, yeah. Unlimited subs. Thank you. I'm living in a previous generation.
Second step, goal defender, both out.
Hence my blank look.
Yeah, yeah. And Borlase 94%. So, she, as Anne mentioned,
Contact, wing defence.
I must have been operating under Yvonne Willering's rules.
I think so. Well, I thought maybe I was caught misinformed. I know the rules have changed a fair bit on us this year. But
No.
I thought, oh, hang on, I've misunderstood this completely.
No, mine. Yeah.
Well, the crowd now getting behind South Australia, trying to open the margin and make their 10-minute run into a full-time, a comfortable one. Up says Harvey, and in response to the order, up went Squire.
See, the substitution rule has been an interesting progression over the years, hasn't it? When we had players, once you came off, you couldn't be replaced. There was a limit of 3, and both those rules have now gone over a period of time.
Wing defence out.
What was interesting at the Commonwealth Games was New Zealand's ignorance about the fact that even though they had called a timeout, Australia had the right to make a change, a substitution in that break. What has changed with that ruling is now when a player does call timeout, that's the only player that can be substituted. Just taking a replay there, and Harvey in a little bit late. That really was possession to Southby.
42-35, and South Australia in a position to control the game now. Certainly got the staff out there to do it. Delaney could bury them. That's an important one right there.
And Alex Hodge slaps the thigh. They're starting to pump now, the South Australians, and I was just thinking what a joy for the South Australian shooters to see their feeders, Hodge and Sanders, time after time, plant the foot right up to the circle to deliver the ball. And it doesn't take them too long to get there and do it either.
Bryant. Ooh. Oh, Sutter managed to get Jan Cross's attention just in time. She got a knock from an elbow or a wrist of Bryant, and so Bryant will eventually have to retake the shot.
She goes and turns to work over the rebound. Stops a little bit from Southby. Didn't look to be too much in it.
So Bryant must retake the shot.
Put it up.
And 43-36. Hands up from Vivian, helped out by Howie. Bryant. O'Donnell.
Barney's offside wing. Quickly
on to Southby. Trying to make a charge here. Southby 13 from 15. Bryant at 76%. But what they need to do is shoot 100% from here on in. Because South Australia offer you so few turnovers. They'll be ruining a few they didn't treasure earlier in the match.
100% and a lot of opportunities.
Down only by 5 now. Contact Southby. Checks the clock, the score. Doesn't make great reading if you're a Victorian.
Obstruction call goes against Susan Howie. Was taken in the goal third though, and that is a forcing call against Alex Hodge, South Australia's wing attack. Victoria now in possession. Garbutt taking the penalty pass. Borlase is down in back play. Southby. She back plays it to Vivian. Victoria a little slow to find their forward line. Now they find it through Bryant.
O'Donnell. Oh, that was meant for Bryant, but it wasn't a good delivery. It was short. Sanders. Now Borlase.
And finally, we have the sense of urgency from both teams that was lacking earlier in the game.
They've slipped it up a gear.
They've waited until midpoint in the final quarter to say, okay, it counts now.
Well, it wasn't as if they were foxing. It was more a measured approach from both teams. They didn't want to spend too much gas too early, perhaps, after what is, even under the shortened format, a taxing week.
Well, the distance was good from Delaney, but it was eventually contact coming down onto the ball.
Every South Australian defender sticking with her player, and it's frustrating work for Victoria trying to break the shackles here. O'Donnell, Howie, Bryant finds front position and finds Southby.
Well, back to 5 and time enough with 6 minutes left on the clock.
Sanders to Squire.
Victoria now starting to let the ball go, get a great drive down court. O'Donnell offloading to Bryant, who wants better position and swings it cross court to Howie. Offside call against Squire gives the free pass inside the circle to ELOISE Southby.
5.5 to go and 5 the lead. It's hard to see Victoria coming up with the escape act here.
Well, they must score now. That makes the task a fraction easier. Illich runs from behind the line to get it back to a centre.
Howie. Vivian runs it down. Howie gets the return ball. Sanders scrambles. Oh, she's priceless. Hodge and Borlase.
Well, that was the effort of the game. Rebecca Sanders, what a brilliant piece of work. Solo work from the South Australian centre. And she's still blowing out the air.
Sanders, Borlase. Over the top for Delaney.
And that again was created by Rebecca Sanders. Delaney really hadn't committed to a forward or a backward move, and Sanders made a mind up for her. And if Victoria thought they had a slim hope, Sanders in one quick move really took the edge off it.
She's an interesting story, isn't she, Rebecca Sanders? Blossoming fairly late in her career. She's 28 now. And it's taken 3 intercepts.
Oh, but that last one was worth 6.
A great player. In the shadow of Carissa Toms for a long time.
Well, Illich not retreating as soon as she should, and demanding that the penalty be back near her. It's moved though by Janelle Derrington.
3:40 to go. 47-41. South Australia look like they're home. Illich. I think Victoria have probably given South Australia more of a fright than they were expecting.
Absolutely, and they really have had the opportunity to win the match. So much wasted possession by them, particularly in the third period, and again in this quarter they had the chance from 4 down to run it home.
Vivian, Howie, O'Donnell. 3 to go, 5 the lead.
Great ball from Howie. O'Donnell and Howie really creating something in attack.
Squire couldn't get a clean take, but happy to soak up a few seconds with the ball going out. Bryant. And for the difference, not enough time, one would think, but they do have the centre pass.
There is time. It'll just be a huge ask. They really have to not only not waste possession as they just did, but they have to be quick in using it.
And this is where the South Australian defence can deny them, slow them down.
We're going to see some hustle extraordinaire now from the Croatians.
And Squire, who would love to take over as the Australian wing defence, takes an important intercept. Delaney.
Now that was the work of champions, and the play by Sanders and that one by Squire really have had the mark of national champions all over them.
Barney's breaking.
Hodge. Ball A's. Good balance.
Obstruction centre.
Well, if it looked like they were thinking about it for 3 quarters, this 4th one was worth waiting for, because for intensity and pace, it's got it all, and some fantastic skills.
And accuracy. Only 1 miss for Jenny Borlase in this entire final. 20 from 21. The South Australian and Australian goal shooter.
Contact.
And I'll give it to you from here. 1:30 on the clock, 6 the difference. It's a no-go for Victoria.
Okay.
Sorry. Goal defence obstructing. Hold it till she's out. Where you are.
She's in no hurry.
Contact, keeper.
Contact Sutter. Well, I think the Victorians know it can't be won. South Australia know it's theirs. Another trophy for the cabinet here in Adelaide.
South Australia.
Unable to win the 21s. 55-51, New South Wales winning. But this is the one that'll attract the press
So
here in Adelaide.
A real change, Steve. South Australia finishing 4th last year at Nationals without the services of many of their top players, have recovered with a brilliant lineup to take a #1 position ahead of Victoria. New South Wales, the defending champions, will finish 3rd, and Tasmania lifting to come in 4th position. So a real turnaround at the top, that open national level.
Yeah, a fresh look to it. And the flexibility of South Australian netball, prepared to let their top players just turn up and play rather than put them in camp, has paid dividends. We're inside the last 30 seconds now as Victoria look for number 45, Southby, as Harvey falls out of the challenge.
Southby were also just 2 misses against her name since she's come into the match at the end of the 1st quarter.
Squire steps up to take it. Delaney. I think mercurial is the adjective we could apply to Delaney. She's a talented, skillful, unpredictable player.
And that is it.
51-45, South Australia win it as we say goodbye to Tasmanian viewers. Well, a great win for South Australia. They were expected to win. They've done it hard, but got there by 6 in the end. Here's Simone Thurtell.
Well, a great win there to South Australia. Congratulations to them. That's where we leave our netball coverage. But let's go now to Perth and Clinton Gribus, where he has all the WNBL action between Perth and Dandenong.